What's the most hurtful thing you've overheard about yourself by accident? At a family reunion, my mother stated she was so happy when I moved out. It was my house and I was letting her live there for free after her divorce. Overheard one of my aunts telling my mother that my arms and legs looked disgusting because of my body hair, and she should do something about it. I was 11 and really self-conscious about being a hairy girl. I hope you've adjusted finally and haven't let your family define your idea of beauty. There are tons of ways to deal with body hair, and even a lot of guys out there attracted to hairy, unshaven girls. It doesn't make you any less feminine or beautiful. That's really sweet of you, thanks. I'm perfectly fine with it now and accepted it as a natural part of my body. As a hairy, self-conscious teenage girl, this is an inspiration to me. Sounds like we had a similar childhood. I was a hairy little girl and kids sang songs about me in elementary school to my face. I was also told I was like a little monkey. I'm really sorry you had to go through that. It really boggles my mind how much people went out of their way to acknowledge how hairy a little girl was. I hope you're over that chapter of your life now, and giving yourself the care and validation you deserve. I actually had a really similar experience. My grandmother told me when I was 12 that I had a really hairy back, and that I need to learn to shave it. I was mortified and never wore anything showing my back for years. When I was a preteen, I posted a picture of myself online with a minor celebrity. I later found that it was reposted on a message board, and the majority of the comments talked about how ugly and pale I was. The only person who said anything nice said, "Don't say that, she posts here sometimes and she's really nice." To be fair, if someone on a message board says you're really nice, you've got a lot going for you. My stepmom saying I was useless, heartless, abusive, leeching, etc. when I couldn't get my dad a birthday gift and instead painted something for him. I was like 16 at the time and had no money, couldn't get my mom to buy something for her ex-husband, and stepmom never wanted to get to know me. To my grandma, actually pretty sad as art was still a big deal to me at that age, and has changed how I've seen her as a person. The irony in that is that your stepmom was describing herself. In 8th grade, I had the highest GPA in my class, so I got to recite the Pledge of Allegiance at graduation. At our rehearsal, as I was walking up to the mic, I overheard a classmate whisper to his friend, out of the whole grade, they had to pick the kid with the most annoying voice. It's a decade later, and I still shrink into insecurity when I remember it. If it makes you feel any better, I have gay voice. And I wanted to be a YouTuber at one point, but I could never go back to edit my videos, so I imagine how bad the audience would have it. I've asked my friends, they say it doesn't bother them, but I feel like they're just being nice. Just 5 minutes ago, my coworker told me my other coworker told her she'd quit immediately if I got hired onto the position they're currently at. Up until this point, I thought this girl and I were best friends. I even shared my Netflix password with her. That bitch. Overheard someone saying they didn't want to work with me. I don't know why, considering I barely knew them. It definitely hurt though. They're probably jealous cunts cause you actually have a cool hobby that you make work for you. Glad to hear they haven't affected you. I was going to comment the same thing. Missed hobbies cost money, so having a hobby that actually brings in money is rare. They're jealous of the extra cash. Heard my mom complain about the Christmas gift I gave her a few years back. Seems small, but it just hurt. I used to make my mom gifts when I was a kid. One time I made my mom this cup thing in elementary school, and gave it to her for her anniversary, and the next day I found it in the trash can. Overheard my dad tell my mom that I am not capable enough to go through with my higher studies. One of the worst feelings when your parents don't have any faith on you. I have now graduated from a prestigious school, and have 2 degrees to my name. I'm really sorry to hear that. But congrats on your accomplishments. How did you do it? Do you have any tips? I'd love to show my parents that I can get a master's and eventually become a midwife or nurse practitioner. My father said he was too busy to come see us on Christmas. I told him my 2-year-old had picked presents out for him. I was also going to announce my second pregnancy. I was at my brother's house when my father called to offer my brother a ride to the airport Christmas morning. The airport is less than 5 minutes from our house. In middle school, I overheard some girls say that a person I regarded as a close friend was only talking to me cause she felt bad for me. She then confirmed it. Well, definitely all my friends that talk to me feels bad for me in some way. Or just wanted to look good in front of other classmates. When I was 8, I decided to make my mom a paper-mache crocodile for her birthday. I spent weeks on it. I'd get back from school and work a bit more on it, all in secret so it'd be a surprise when I gave it to her. One day I came home from school, excited to get to the crocodile as her birthday was coming up fast now, ran to the kitchen, and saw my crocodile all screwed up lying in the kitchen bin. She'd found it and thrown it away. I cried so much. I was going through a pretty rough time and came home from college super depressed, and my brother told my mom I was a basket case. Kinda ironic, coming from him, but it still hurt. Went out on a date with someone I met online, to then hear her mother yelling at her for doing so. She then found out I'm Puerto Rican, and she went on a racist tirade about how I'm a possible rapist because that's what Hispanics do. That lady was yelling so hard through the phone that I overheard it by mistake. My mother and father both were dumb enough to write awful letters to the judge that presided over my sister's case. The letters were a sad attempt to make me the bad guy somehow and my sister out to be a good person. My sister was charged with felony child neglect. I had zero involvement and live in a different state. The letters were dated on my birthday. This was the final straw with their crazy shit.